Well, good morning. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you today on a special day to announce the retirement of one of the league's greatest players. You know, it's not often in the course of a player's career to have had the kind of success that Travis has had. A Grey Cup champion, Grey Cup MVP, league most outstanding player. But that's only part of the story. We're also talking about a player who has made a tremendous contribution in this community, someone who's been a great ambassador for the league, someone who's, been, his reputation in the locker room as a team player and a contributor are literally second to none. He's left an indelible imprint on the Canadian Football League, and I expect that we're going to see great things from Travis in the days ahead. He's got a beautiful family, 3 daughters. I think he's got big plans for his career as a post football player. And I'm personally, and I think I share with all of you, an excitement to watch what Travis will do next, because his life has been defined by his ability to make contributions. And frankly, he's just a winner. He's just somebody who approaches life in the most positive way imaginable. So, on behalf of the Canadian Football League, we offer our warmest thanks to Travis for all that he has done to make our league better, to make the community here in British Columbia better, and we wish him the greatest and healthiest, happiest retirement possible. Best wishes. Thank you.
I feel really fortunate this morning that I kind of got a lot of the emotional stuff out of the way. With stuff hitting social media this morning, the Lions little video had me teary-eyed, and I was getting texts, and it all started this morning for me, so I think I got it mostly out of the way. But I just want to thank the Lions for, just giving me a little opportunity to say a little farewell here, and, recognizing what's been a really special 10 years of my life. I know it's cliche, but it's hard to believe it's gone so fast, and I've had so many just tremendous memories and relationships made in this very building. So I feel really honored. At the end it wasn't necessarily the goal to have been in one spot, coming out. It just happened to be by chance the Lions were the team that was interested in me. But getting to spend a decade this close to my hometown and having my parents be close by and, experience so many of those cool memories of the last decade with me. I just feel extremely blessed and fortunate to have landed in Vancouver, and so I just kind of wanted to take the day. I've said a lot. You guys have probably seen a couple articles and things this morning. I've said a ton about how it's hard for me to put into words how much this 10 years meant to me and my family. And we weren't. I have 3 little kids somewhere in the back, and they didn't exist when I got here, so it's just been such an evolution of my life. It's such a hugely important part of my life, and the whole CFL community. There's just words can't express how grateful I am to have had this opportunity, and I just want to thank the club and all of you for being here and giving me a moment to kind of say a farewell from a player's point of view. Injuries are part of the deal, and so that was the hardest question for me to answer every time I'd come back was, am I willing to go through this again? Because I know there's a possibility of that happening. And the answer in the past had been, yeah. I still have such a strong desire to play. Obviously, I thought a lot about this after my knee in 2017, and that season came to pass. And I'd said this publicly before, but I just really appreciated sitting down with Ed and look, there's no pressure. If you want to play, we want you to be involved. And I just felt like I wasn't done after last season, and the desire to play and kind of see that through was still stronger than the desire to protect myself from the risk of playing again. And I guess that's shifted after this season. It was a struggle last year just to maintain, and not just like I'm limping everywhere all the time. That wasn't the case, but the mental emotional energy to put in to coming back. It just, it takes a toll. And at the end of the season, I sat down with Ed and Wally, and I expressed, I'm going to have to think about what I want to do next. And as time wore on, it was really evident to me that, that the desire to protect myself from that risk on the field was stronger than my desire to play anymore. So, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I love it. I really do. I've enjoyed, I mean, I think people would say I'm smiling a lot in the building, even, through rough times, just because I've genuinely tried to appreciate the moment, and maybe getting hurt has kind of increased that appreciation for me. The last 4 or 5 years of my career almost felt like a bonus. I'd been hurt prior to that, and we know that story, but just the last 4 years have been really, really rewarding since that night in Ottawa when I thought I could have been done in 2014. So, so I've always enjoyed it, and I still would. But it's a time in my life where, I'm thinking about life after football, and God willing, I have a lot of life to live and little kids and all that stuff. So, that one. I called Wally a little bit ago, and he kind of, and Wally's always been that kind of guy for me where I could call and hear some advice, but his advice was, Trav, decompress. Don't dive into anything. And so for me, just for our family, the rhythm of life was talking to some guys beforehand here, but this has been off season, so mid-February or late February here, it still feels like off season, and I feel really fortunate about the timing of this to take however much time it takes, but to kind of see, survey the landscape and see exactly what I want to do. Obviously, I have interests. I've had interest in football. I love being around the game. I've done a little bit of broadcast work. I love the other side of football too. So we'll see. I know I know I'll have opportunities, and it's just a matter of deciding where I want to go next. And even my journey to here was, I was bouncing around on different teams, and a lot of guys can relate to this as a young player, just trying to stick anywhere. And it just happened to be the Lions were the team that gave me that chance. And, I remember when I came here to training camp in 2009, I had one little suitcase because I didn't know if I was driving back to Montana in 2 weeks, So, and here we are 10 years later. So it's been, it is really special to have been through so much of. I've seen every avenue of this organization, right, from the best times, hosting and winning Grey Cup at home, and BC Place was rocking, and most of you guys were there for that, and that was just such an amazing time. And I've been through the rockier times and losing, and I just feel really connected to this place. The place will always be special to me, regardless of where the next step takes me. Mike would tell you this. We chatted almost on a weekly basis in season. We'd never talked about it. We've never really discussed contract stuff. But after the season, it's a time to reflect, and everybody's doing that. And we sat down at Grey Cup and just like, what's your plans? And I kind of shared that I was leaning towards this, and I was going to give myself the time to make sure that was what I really wanted to do. And that was the first time that I thought that there was maybe a chance that Mike would come. And so then I tried to work on him a little bit because it does, honestly. Like I would have come to the same conclusion, because ultimately it's my knee and my body that I'm doing this for, and in the future. But it would have been hard if the Lions didn't feel really good about where they're at in their quarterback spot, because that's what I would have been walking away from, right? And so, to know that they're in more than capable hands with Mike, feels pretty good. I wanted to feel really good about this, and I had been leaning that way, as I mentioned. But I said, you know what, and I had communications with Dan and Kim and everybody else. Like, you know what, I'm gonna leave this option open just in case the flame gets reignited or I start feeling physically really good. So then when it came and went, and it was black and white, and I knew what scenarios I had on the table. Those are really exciting things for me. I never took advantage. I never took for granted the fact that I was wanted, that the club offered me contracts to come back. Right? I really didn't take that for granted. And so I'm looking at it and going, man, there was a time, when I couldn't find this type of contract offer anywhere, and now here I am, might be walking away from it. It did make me really stop to reconsider, but it also made me more and more certain that this was the right thing for me and for my family at this time. So I'm really appreciative to all the people who, kind of encouraged me to wait and make sure I was making the decision that I felt really good about. So that's where we're at. We started this game because we like to compete, and we're competing to win. And there is nothing more fulfilling than finding a way as an organization to win a championship. So there's no question that's the most fulfilling playing thing, but the biggest takeaway from my time here is the people and the relationships I've made, and that's just the truth of it. I've got really close friends, some of whom are in this room, that mean a lot more to me than wins and losses.